Welcome to Science and Technology Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: executive board rooms are being turned into $22 million apartments. Nippon Steel drops claims against Toyota over metal for motors. Israel latest: Hamas says 600 people may leave Gaza Thursday. China struggles to convince some Lee mourners of reason for death. AI hangover weighs on chipmaker shares even with solid results. Executive board rooms are being turned into $22 million apartments. Bloomberg. Developers in London are converting former commercial buildings into luxury apartments and hotels. The shortage of prime central London locations has forced developers to target listed buildings that are often more costly and challenging to convert. However, the stately features, combined with modern amenities, have attracted buyers who want to own a piece of British history. According to a Bloomberg survey, 25% of London businesses are reducing their office space, and the office vacancy rate in central London is 8.5%. This equates to roughly 28,000 homes if converted into residential buildings, according to CBRE Group. However, the conversion of office space is not easy. Not all office structures can enable sufficient capacity, daylight, ventilation, and vibration standards without significant modification. Less than 33% of global Class C offices can be converted into housing, according to architecture firm Gensler. Nippon Steel drops claims against Toyota over metal for motors. Bloomberg. Israel latest: Hamas says 600 people may leave Gaza Thursday. Bloomberg. Hamas has said that it expects 600 more foreigners and dual nationals, including 400 American citizens, to leave Gaza on Thursday. This will be the second batch of people to exit Gaza since the border with Egypt was opened on Wednesday. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden has said that Israel and Hamas will pause fighting to allow time to free more hostages from Gaza. The Israeli cabinet has also approved a government compensation program for indirect losses caused to businesses due to the war with Hamas. China struggles to convince some Lee mourners of reason for death. Bloomberg. As China prepared to cremate former Premier Li Keqiang on Thursday, its leaders were struggling to convince everyone in his hometown to accept their version of how he died. A number of mourners in eastern Anhui province this week expressed doubt the former number 2 official died of a heart attack, the reason given in a government statement Friday. Li found himself sidelined by President Xi Jinping before exiting the Politburo Standing Committee, China's most powerful body, a year ago, despite being young enough to stay on. While the health conditions of senior leaders are always treated as a state secret in China, no evidence has emerged to undermine the Communist Party's account of Li's death. The Politburo praised the former premier as the time-tested and loyal communist soldier in a statement last week, suggesting he hadn't fallen from favor. Li's death comes as a series of unexplained oustings in China's leadership create a heightened sense of mystery around the party. AI hangover weighs on chipmaker shares even with solid results. Bloomberg. Chip stocks are struggling to regain momentum despite signs of recovery in smartphone and computer demand. Earnings reports from Intel and Samsung were positive, indicating that the worst may be over for the electronics end markets. However, the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index is still up 30% this year, half of where it was at its summer peak. Analysts cite risks to the global economy, including the potential expansion of the war in the Middle East, concerns over elevated global interest rates and the threat of a recession, and ongoing trade restrictions between the US and China. The recent pullback in sector stocks may have priced in some of these worries, however. Ole Miss to offer medical marijuana master's degree, educating the workforce will lead to more informed consumer. Yahoo! The University of Mississippi is launching a 2-year online course focusing on medical cannabis and dietary supplements. The curriculum will be split into 2 distinct sections, the first focusing on dietary supplements and the second on medical marijuana. The program is aimed at those already working in the sectors, but will also offer entry-level positions. The first year will focus on dietary supplements and the second on medical marijuana. Each leg of the program will include 5 courses and begin with general history and then move into pharmacy and toxicology. The program is expected to receive full accreditation by the end of the semester and is expected to accept its first students next fall. Robert De Niro's private life may not be dark, but it isn't pleasant. The Independent. Actor Robert De Niro has been accused of being a grumpy boss by his former executive assistant and is being sued for $12 million. The actor in turn is suing his former assistant for $6 million, accusing her of misappropriating company funds. The case is currently being heard in New York. Since the trial began, De Niro has been described as being irate and angry, with the judge having to intervene during one exchange. This behavior has led to some suggesting that De Niro's on-screen persona reflects his off-screen personality. In a 2015 interview with Radio Times, De Niro stormed out after taking issue with a question. The following year at the Wall Street Journal Innovator Awards, De Niro was upset by what he perceived to be condescension in the speech of tech mogul Stuart Butterfield. De Niro has also made headlines in recent years for his outspoken criticism of Donald Trump. In the court case, De Niro has been accused of making unwanted physical contact and using inappropriate language. Panama Congress backs repealing first quantum mine contract. Bloomberg. Panama's Congress has voted to repeal a mining contract with First Quantum Minerals, making a proposed referendum on extending or revoking the contract unnecessary. The bill was passed in a 63-0 vote, and a third and definitive vote on the bill is due to take place. If the final vote is to repeal, the deal extending the company's mining license by 20 years could be sent into arbitration. The bill also establishes an indefinite moratorium on metal mining nationwide and orders the government to reject all current and future requests for metal mining permits. Protests against the mine have continued in the streets of Panama City. That's all for today's news updates from the 6 Degree World. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Six, here to bring you the latest and most intriguing stories from around the globe. Let's quickly recap what we've learned today. 1. Executive boardrooms in London are being transformed into luxurious apartments worth a whopping $22 million. Who wouldn't want to live in a piece of British history? 2. Nippon Steel has dropped its patent lawsuits against Toyota over electrical steel sheets. Looks like a settlement might have been reached, but the details remain undisclosed. 3. Hamas expects 600 more foreigners and dual nationals, including 400 American citizens, to leave Gaza. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden announces a pause in fighting to free more hostages. 4. China faces doubts from mourners in Premier Li Keqiang's hometown regarding the cause of his death. The Communist Party's account of a heart attack is being questioned, adding to the mystery surrounding recent leadership changes. 5. Despite positive earnings reports from chipmakers Intel and Samsung, chip stocks are struggling to regain momentum. Global economic risks and ongoing trade restrictions are dampening investor confidence. 6. The University of Mississippi is launching a 2-year online course focusing on medical cannabis and dietary supplements. Get ready for a whole new generation of well-informed cannabis experts. 7. Actor Robert De Niro finds himself in a legal battle with his former executive assistant. Accusations of grumpy behavior and misappropriation of funds are flying around the courtroom. 8. Panama's Congress has voted to repeal a mining contract with First Quantum Minerals, potentially sending the deal into arbitration. Protests against the mine continue in Panama City. And there you have it, folks. The world keeps spinning, and the news keeps coming. It's always fascinating to see the diverse range of stories that unfold each day. Now, it's time for you, my dear viewers, to join in on the fun. What are your thoughts on today's news? Do you have any burning questions or insightful comments? I'm all ears. Let's keep the conversation going and explore the world together. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.